A couple of weeks ago, I pitched my services for a really big project with a really interesting company, and I've shared with you guys that I felt like the pitch didn't go very well. But fortunately, 1 week after that, they come back to me and we've sealed the deal. And I want to kind of share with you the process of how I sent them the proposal, did a little bit of negotiation, and signed the deal. And today is actually our first meeting on boarding, and I kind of want to share everything with you guys. So, as I've mentioned before, they had some concerns about working with a freelancer versus working with a big agency. They weren't really sure that somebody working alone can really fit everything that this project encapsulates, which is pretty big. It's a branding project. It's a website with lots of content in 2 languages. It's also a video production of a video clip. So there's a lot to do, and they were really anxious about working with a freelancer because what happens if he's sick? There's nobody to back him up, and that's actually a fairly legit concern. And actually, you know, my wife is due in a few weeks, and I do want to take a few weeks off to be with her and, you know, my newborn son. So I did take this into consideration when I kind of built the time frame for this proposal. So I see that I have enough time to do this project and deliver on their deadline. So I built the proposal pretty much like the template that we're using for Prospero, and actually some people ask in the comments if I used Prospero to send the proposal for this, and the reason is actually not because I had to send a proposal in Hebrew, and Prospero doesn't support Hebrew for now, but I really want to make Prospero you know, support all my needs so I can use that myself. I think it's ridiculous that I can't use this. But anyway, back to the story. I kind of built the proposal where I priced every section of the project, like the branding project and the website and the print and the video. I've priced each of them separately, and I've explained in the proposal what's going to be the process behind every section of the project. I've also included the timetable so they can see that we fit this within their time limits. And also set kind of payments milestones. It was basically something like 25% upfront, 25% after the branding is done, 25% after the website goes online, and then 25% after we finish all the print and stuff. So I sent them the proposal, and they've actually decided to go with me rather than the big agency. I think mainly because the big agency were like super expensive, and for me this is still a very profitable project, even though I took like less than half of what a big agency would charge. So CEO called me back, wanted to negotiate a little bit of aspects. For example, there's an app design included in the process, and I thought I had to completely redesign the whole UX and flow and rethink everything. So I've kind of charged a lot of money for this, and he called me and he said, look, we had a designer to actually do the whole design process of the app, and we only have to kind of reshape it and color it with the new brand that you'll create, so it's not as complicated. So I said, okay, if it's not as complicated, I kind of lower the price for this because I actually understood that it's less work than what I've estimated. He asked for a few more kind of print elements, like a brochure and stuff like that, but I didn't add any price. I've added his request to the proposal because it's just, I thought it wasn't really worth the trouble. I've already kind of value priced it, and I thought it would be still a profitable project with these additions. And the last thing was to kind of change a little bit the payment milestones, which kind of lower the upfront payment from 25% to 20% and move the 5% after. It was just ridiculous. I don't think that it doesn't really matter to me. The upfront payment is not really because I need the money right now. It's more just to have the client kind of sink in an investment, so they're really, you know, invested in the project and they know that they're going to stick with me until the end. It's kind of a commitment thing. So that was kind of the negotiation that went on last week, and then we sealed the deal. I kind of sent an invoice for the upfront payment, and today we're actually starting to work on this project. So today we kind of have the onboarding meeting, and the strategy meeting for the branding. So the whole team is going to be there, and I'm going to do kind of my usual strategy workshop, which is based on this book, which I always use, Designing Brand Idea. I always use the process in this book when I'm starting a new branding process, and I always refer back to this book. By the way, check the book recommendation page I just created the other day. It's on there. And also we're going to discuss, should we rename the company as part of the branding process. So I also have a really great book that I like that's called Hey, My Name is Awesome, which kind of explains the process of renaming and how you should rename. So they have kind of parameters as to what is a good name and a bad name. So I was kind of going through this the other day and kind of came to the conclusion that the name right now is actually pretty good, but we do need to come up with a name for the product. So I'm going to share those findings with them and brainstorm this with them and see if they agree with my findings. And that's it. Actually, the meeting is kind of late. It's late afternoon. It's like 5 to 7 p.m. I usually prefer not to do things afternoon because I'm pretty tired, but we couldn't find any different time to do this. So it's noon right now. I'm gonna grab a little power nap because I woke up super early and went to swim and did some work. So I want to be fresh. I'm gonna take a little power nap. Then I have kind of a client meeting and then head over to there and hope it goes great. So it is pretty late. I just got home in time to say goodnight to Tommy, my son, and I think the meeting went overall it went pretty good. It was really long, almost 3-hour meeting. And these type of meeting where you talk about the strategy of the company and getting to know all the kind of management teams tends to be very emotional because sometimes there is disagreement about the vision, about how people see the future of the company, the competition and stuff like that. But I think it was overall very successful because we kind of got to an agreement about where we want to go, also got to an agreement around, the kind of whether we should change the name of the company and stuff like that. So overall, I feel really good about this this day. Super tired. I think one thing that I forgot to mention earlier when I was talking about how I got this project is that you can really not ignore the fact that my friend works there and he kind of gave the recommendation. And even when the CEO of the company wasn't really sure if they should be working with me or not, he kind of vouched for me. So I think it's really important. You can't ignore this. You can have the skills, but I was pitching against other people who have really good skills. So these things matter, and it can be frustrating when you're on the other side of it, when you're not getting picked because somebody had the right friends. But the truth is that this is how a lot of deals are made, because somebody referred and vouched for this person because they personally know him, and that creates trust. So I always say that I get most of my work from referrals and from my friends, and this case was actually not that different. Anyway, I'm excited for this project. It's going to be something that I'll be working on heavily in the upcoming 3 months, and I hope I'll share most of it. Probably when it's done, I'll be able to share everything. As I said, it's branding. It's a website that I've already, as part of the proposal and contract, kind of sold it as a Webflow website that I'm going to build using their CMS. Also going to be a lot of print stuff and packaging for their product. I'll tell you more about this next time. For tonight, I'm going to close it off and I'm going to grab pizza with my wife and just try to relax a little bit. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll catch you tomorrow.
Through all the rain and the pain, you gotta keep your sense of humor.